Hello guys, good day. Welcome back to our lesson. For today, it's all still on Business Math Quarter 2, Module 5. Its topic is all about overtime pay. So we have two objectives for today's video lesson. One is you are expected to identify the variables needed in the computation of overtime, as well as the ability to compute for the overtime pay. Let us start with the video lesson with a review. I want you to get a sheet of paper. We will have a short review of your past lesson. Write only the letter that corresponds to your final answer. You may also use a calculator for fast computation. Once you see the circle, this one, that it seems that it's no more color, then time is up. Then let us try to check your answer. So you may use a calculator for fast computation for this because this is such a quickie review. So timer is given for you and I want you to have just fun in answering this. Let us start. Okay? Mrs. Alonso earns 25,000 pesos per month. If she works 8 hours a day for a 20-day work month, how much does she get per day? A, 850, B, 1,000, C, 1,050, D, 1,250. Time is up. The correct answer is letter D. Okay, next number. Number 2. Number 2. A working student accepted a tutorial job where she will be paid 50 pesos per hour. How much will she earn for a 20-hour week work? A, 500, B, 1,000, C, 1,050, D, 1,200. Okay, time is up. The correct answer is letter B. Next, number 3. McB pays their staff with an average wage of 75 pesos per hour. How much do their staff get if they work for 7 hours and 6 days a week for 4 weeks? Is it A, 12,600, B, 13,000, C, 13,500, D, 13,575? Come on, use your calculator. Okay, time is up. The correct answer is letter A. Next, number 4. Number 4. Liza is paid 55 pesos and 40 centavos for each hour she works. What will be her gross pay for a week if she works for 45 hours? A, 3,000, B, 2,943, C, 2,493, D, 2,400. Okay, time is up. The correct answer is letter C. Next is number 5. Asley is paid 8 pesos for each design she embroiders on the cloth face mask that was approved by the inspector. What will be her pay if she embroidered 50 pieces of face mask in which 3 were rejected? A, 400, B, 386, C, 376, D, 350. Okay, time is up. The correct answer is letter C. Okay, so that ends our review. You have a good job. So this is just a preview of our lesson. So more and more interesting ideas will be introduced in this video lesson. Now let us keep going, guys. So I want you to arrange the letter to reveal the terms that we'll use in this lesson. So I have a scrambled letters on the next slide, and on the right side are the icons that will serve as your clue. So write the correct answer in a separate sheet of paper. 1 point each. So I will be giving you another uh, minutes for you to perform this activity. So let us. Okay, time is up. Let us check. Okay, what's the answer for number 1? Okay, overtime pay. Number 2, what's the answer? Holiday. 3, labor code. 4, rest day. And 5, wage rate. Who got 5? Okay, the following words will be encountered in the succeeding discussion. So let us proceed. Now I have here a problem. It's all about Regine, who works in a company at Jollibee Bye City, Leyte. She earns 440 pesos per day, and she was always required to work overtime for 2 hours every day. Her employer wants to transfer her to their company branch in Manila, where she will have a minimum wage of 537 pesos per day. However, she was told that they don't require much overtime in that branch because they have enough manpower. What should be her answer if she will be basing her decision on her earnings? Which branch will she earn more? So I want you to answer this on a separate sheet of paper. So write your answer to this question. Okay, so I will be giving you several minutes to do this. So just pause this video for while you are still answering. Okay? Okay, so whatever your answer is, just keep your answer and check it after we have done this video lesson. Let us proceed. Next is, I want you to answer the following activity again on the blank. Write the percentage rate that is needed to compute for the overtime needed. Actually, this is just to diagnose uh, what particular percentage rate you know. So it's just a diagnostic test or a pre-test. So later you will learn more about this. So after you finally filled up this activity, we simply go back this as soon as you already learn what are the different percentage rate for the following overtime pay. Okay, let us proceed. The Philippine Labor Code Article 83 states that the normal hours of work where an employee is required to do his or her work or to be in a prescribed workplace is 8 hours a day. However, the Labor Code does not apply to government employees, managerial employees, field personnel, employers' family members, domestic helpers, and personal service provider. Also, a child below 15 years of age cannot work for more than 4 hours, and those that are 15 to 18 years cannot work for more than 8 hours a day and 5 days a week. So the household helpers are required to work for 10 hours a day, excluded an hour of break time for their meals every day. So there are times that the employee will be required to work for more than their prescribed hours. First, if the country is at war or under a national or local emergency like the COVID-19 pandemic. Second, if overtime work can help save lives. Third, if there is urgent work to be performed on machines, installation, or equipment. Fourth, to avoid damage or loss to the perishable goods, or if the work requires a certain weather condition to finish it. And fifth, or lastly, the overtime work will avoid company losses. In these cases, the company is required to pay the overtime pay as stipulated in the law. Overtime pay is the additional compensation given to the employee who rendered an overtime work. So the following are different kinds of overtime work and ways to compute its payment. Number one, overtime pay on regular work day. The employer must provide 6 continuous working days and on 1 rest day. The overtime pay during these working days shall be computed as overtime pay equals overtime hours times 125% of normal hourly wage rate. So this is how overtime pay computed in a normal or a regular work day. For example, an employee who was required to work additional 3 hours overtime to meet the deadline for their output, the daily wage rate is 440 pesos. So to compute for overtime pay, we use the formula overtime pay equals how many hours the overtime is rendered is 3 hours. So 3 times 440 times 125% over 8 or all over divided by 8. So 3 times 440 times 1.25 all over divided by 8. So the total is 1,650 divided by 8. So total is 506.25. This will be received by an employee with a regular daily wage rate of 450 plus 3 hours overtime. So to get the hourly rate, divide the daily wage to 8 hours. And then if you are going to compute the overtime pay, you simply multiply that with 1.25 times 440. Okay? So that's it. Second, overtime pay on scheduled rest day. So usually, Sunday is a scheduled rest day of various companies, but it may vary depending on the kind of business. Others call it Sunday rate. So first is you are going to compute the first 8 hours. So to compute that, it is daily wage rate times 130%. So halimbawa, ang isang empleyado ay pinag-obliga na mag-report or magtrabaho kahit ito'y rest day. Halimbawa, Sunday. So, inobliga itong empleyado na mag-report o magtrabaho kahit Sunday. So, yung araw niya, yung buong 8 hours niya ay ang matatanggap niya ay hindi yung usual na sahod niya, kundi ang daily wage rate niya ay multiply ng 1.3. So, halimbawa, 440 pesos yung regular wage niya daily. So, you multiply 450 times 1.3, that will be his or her daily wage for 8 hours lang. Pag halimbawa naman, rest day na nga, mag-o-overtime pa siya. So, ano na naman ang mangyayari? So, example, Renato, a technician, had to work on Sunday, and Sunday is a rest day to repair the conveyor equipment. How much will he be paid if his rate is 600 pesos daily? So since Sunday is a rest day, so yung 600 niya is i-multiply ng 1.3. So yung matatanggap niya is 780. Yun ay sa 8 hours lang yan. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya nag-o-overtime. Sa 8 hours na trabaho lang niya yan. Okay? Next is overtime pay on scheduled rest day kasama yung ibig sabihin, yung kay Renato kanina, overtime niya is, di ba yung regular rate niya ay i-multiply ng 1.3. So, sa ngayon naman, kung ilang oras siyang nag-o-overtime, yung number of hours niya will be multiplied by 169% times the hourly rate. So, ganito yun. Magbigay ako ng halimbawa. So, halimbawa, Renato wasn't able to finish his repair job for 8 hours, so he worked for another 3 hours. Baga, nag-overtime si Renato. What will be his total compensation? Since Sunday is a rest day, so malaki na nga yung sahod niya, di ba? Kasi nga, 1.69 i-multiply ng 3 hours times 600 divided by 8. So, may madadagdag siyang 380.25. Yung 380.25 ay para yun sa overtime niya. Gets? So, kung nakuha nyo kanina, mayroon siyang matatanggap na 780 pesos sa regular or kumbaga sa 8 hours na trabaho niya. Ngayon, meron na naman siyang overtime pay na 380 pesos and 25 centavos, which is idadagdag niya yun sa kanyang 8 hours na work. So, ang mangyari ay matatanggap ni Renato sa araw na yan, Sunday, ay 1,160 pesos and 25 centavos. So, yun po yun. Okay? Next. We have another type of overtime pay, which is on holiday. So the list of regular holidays in 2020 are January 1, April 9, April 10, May 1, June 12, August 31, November 30, December 25, December 30. We have also additional, we have Eid al-Fitr, or the Feast of Breaking the Fast, and Eid al-Adha, or the Festival of Sacrifice. So on these dates, the first 8 hours will be paid double or 200% and 260% in excess of 8 hours. Kumbaga kung 8 hours lang, times 2 agad yung sahod nila kung magtatrabaho sila sa mga holiday na yan. At kung magdagdag pa sila ng oras sa kakatrabaho, kumbaga may overtime pa sila, ang bawat oras ay i-multiply ng 2.6 in excess of the 8 hours. So, to get the first 8 hours, the daily wage will be multiplied by 200%. So, let us have an example. Our example is Arnold, a guard, was required to work on December 25. His daily rate is 500 pesos. What will be his earnings for the first 8 hours? So since that is December 25 and is considered special day, so the first 8 hours is 500 times 2. So matatanggap niya na sa araw na yun is 1,000. Yun ang pinakasahod ni Arnold sa December 25 kasi nga holiday yun. Next is, meron pa siyang, nag-o-overtime pa siya. So, pag-compute ng overtime niya is, regular holiday overtime pay is equals to hours of overtimes times 260% times the hourly rate. So, Ganito yon. So, Arnold's reliever, meron siyang karelibo, hindi dumating. So, kasi yung mga guard kasi, hindi sila pwedeng umalis sa pwesto nila hanggat wala yung karelibo nila. So, kasi nga, yung relibo niya hindi dumating, so he had to work for another 4 hours that day. So, let us try to compute his total earnings on that day. So, since it is a special day, the overtime will be computed as follows. So, we have the hours, then multiplied by 2.6 times the daily rate. So, 500 bawat araw niya. So, divided by 8. So, yung matatanggap niya is 650. So, yun. Since meron na siyang 1,000 kanina sa 8 hours na trabaho niya, so 1,000 plus 650, yung matatanggap niya is 1,650 for that particular day. Yun, Christmas kasi yun, holiday. So, malaki yung sahod na matatanggap ni Arnold. Other employees like healthcare workers, police, soldiers, guards, and other vital employees of a company are always required to work even during holidays, and sometimes it fails on the rest day as well. So, overtime pay for holiday that falls on rest day will have also another rate. So, to get the first 8 hours day is equals to daily rate times 260%. Ito kung mafo-fall ang trabaho sa holiday na rest day pa. Halimbawa, holiday is Sunday, tapos kailangan siyang magtrabaho kahit Sunday at saka kailangan niyang mag-report kahit yung Sunday pa naman, rest day pa naman yun. So, again, rest day na, holiday pa. So, ito yung pag-compute ng first 8 hours. So, pag rest day and holiday, daily rate times 260%. I will give you example. Roland, a guard, was required to work on November 1. And November 1 is a holiday and it falls on Sunday, which is also his rest day. His daily wage is 570 pesos. To compute for his compensation that day, we are going to compute by multiplying the daily wage times 2.6. So, yung matatanggap niya sa 8 hours lang, sa first 8 hours, is 1,482 pesos. Yun. At dahil nga, halimbawa, meron pa siyang overtime sa holiday na, rest day pa, so ang pag-compute doon is the hours of overtime times 260% times 130% times the hourly rate. So, kumbaga, naka-ilang times na. Kasi nga, holiday na, rest day pa. Pero kailangang merong guard doon. Kasi baka nakawan doon sa company. So, ang ginawa, compute na lang natin yung matatanggap niyang earnings or wages. So, I will give you example. There was a thief incident that day that he has to stay for another 3 hours as overtime work. Merong nagnanakaw. So, si Roland doon na isang guard, hindi siya pwedeng lumiban, hindi siya pwedeng umalis doon sa pwesto niya hanggat dumating yung karelyebo niya kasi nga mayroong thief incident. So, meron siyang overtime na 3 hours. So, what will be his overtime pay after 8 hours on holiday and Sunday? So, meron siyang 3 hours times 2.6 times 1.3 times 570. The answer with that will be divided by 8. So, yung matatanggap niya sa overtime niya is 722 pesos and 48 centavos. Take note, Sunday na, kumbaga rest day na, holiday pa. Kaya, kanina, meron siyang matatanggap na 1,482 sa 8 hours niya. Karon meron siyang dagdag na 3 hours na overtime. So, matatanggap na naman niya itong 722 pesos and 48 centavos. So, idadagdag natin yung 1,482 plus 722 pesos and 48 centavos. Ang total na earnings niya sa araw na yun ay 2,204 pesos and 48 centavos. So, ganun yun. Next is overtime pay for special non-working holiday that falls on rest day. Kumbaga, mayroong special non-working holiday na declare pero na-fall siya on rest day. Sa halimbawa nito is the overtime rate is 195% of the normal hourly wage rate. So if the overtime work is done on a special day which falls on scheduled rest day, so 100% assume normal hourly wage times 130% times 150%. So, kanina, malaking kaibahan yun kasi kanina, it's declared as holiday. Ito naman ngayon ay non-working holiday talaga. Wala talaga, non-working talaga. Pero kailangang magtatrabaho. And this non-working holiday, na-fall siya sa rest day. Siguro na-fall siya sa rest day ng isang trabahante. Halimbawa, usually, Sunday yun. So, yun ang rate niya. So, I will give you example. Andy worked for 10 hours on February 25, a special non-working holiday, and also his rest day. What will be his total income for the day if his daily wage is 520 pesos? Computation. Special non-working holiday or that falls on rest day is 520 times 1.5. So, yung buong 8 hours ni Andy sa katatrabaho ay instead na 520 ay ang matatanggap niya ay 780. So, yon ang matatanggap niya. Pero kung halimbawa mag-o-overtime naman si Andy, so anong mangyari? So, let's try to have this. Kasi pag during special non-working holiday or rest day, mag-o-overtime ka, ang overtime pay mo ay computed as this. Hours of overtime times 130% times 150% times hourly rate. So, I will give you example. So, let us have example on special non-working holiday rest day with overtime pay. So, to compute the overtime pay for special non-working holiday that falls on rest day is the number of hours rendered as overtime times 1.3 times 1.5 times 60. This 65, guys, is this is the rate of Andy, which is 520. That's the rate of Andy divided by 8, and we got 65. So that is why 2 times 1.3 times 1.5 times 65, hindi na natin i-divide ng 8 kasi yung 520 dinidivide na ng 8, kaya nga 65 na lang. So ang matatanggap niya is 253 pesos and 50 centavos for the 2 hours overtime. So plus the 8 hours pay ni Andy, which is 780 pesos plus 253 pesos and 50 centavos, yung total na matatanggap niya, the total earnings for that day is 1,033 pesos and 50 centavos. That is how you are going to compute the overtime pay plus the regular wage. Now, let's move on to night shift differential. Night shift differential refers to the 10% added amount to the hourly rate if the employee works from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So, let's proceed to an example. We have here, Mr. Dean La worked from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. If his daily rate is 500 pesos, what will be his total earning for the day? Now, for the computation, let us have to look into the time the time that Mr. Dinla worked from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. So look into from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30, that will be his 8-hour work, which pay for 500 pesos as the daily wage. Now, from 4:30 p.m. to 10 is 6 hours. That 6 hours is his overtime period, and thus this will be multiplied by 1.25. From 10 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., that is 1 hour and a half, which will have an additional 10% as the night shift differential. And since that is already an overtime pay, so still it is multiplied by 62.5. That is how to compute the night shift differential with overtime. So with that, the daily wage, which is 500, plus the answer for 6 times 62.5 times 1.25 for the overtime pay from 4:30 to 10:30, and that is 468 pesos and 75 centavos, plus the night differential, which is 1.5 times 0.10 times 62.5 will give you 9.38. So with that, 500 plus 468.75 plus 9.38, that is 978 pesos and 12 centavos. Okay? Now let's move on to your activity 1. Directions. On a separate sheet of paper, complete the table below by computing for the total compensation of each worker. Now, we have here first column the name of personnel or employee, then date of overtime with the regular working days or with overtime, whatever. Then the daily rate, then overtime hours, then the overtime rate, then first 8 hours pay, overtime pay, and total compensation. This is found in your module class, so don't worry, you can have this in your module. Just complete the table. We have here number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So yan. For your next activity is what I have learned. You are going to complete the following sentence by just filling in the blank. So that will be your next activity. This one. So that's 1 to 10. Next is what you can do. So I have here a table wherein you are going to compute the breakdown salary of Graciela. So Graciela worked for the following time periods. Her daily rate is 425 pesos. Compute for the breakdown of her salary. So in the first column, we have date. Then in the second column, the time in. Then third column is time out. Then you are going to compute the number of work hours. How many hours did Graciela work in September 1 from 7:25 a.m. to 5:40 p.m. So you're going to compute. Then you are going to write or solve the total wages for that particular date. Then try to look into if your answers jibe with this total compensation for the week or gross total compensation for the week of Graciela. Okay, so that's it. Next is your assessment. So in your assessment class, you are going to write the letter of the correct answer on a separate sheet of paper. So you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that okay, for your additional activity class, you are going to search about Philippine holiday payrolls using your Google search engine or any search engine. You may use any search engine using your uh, cell phone, or you may use laptop or whatever. Then you are going to fill in the blanks here 1 to 6 for your additional activities. So that will be all for your additional activities, guys. Okay, that will be all for our video lesson. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to submit your answer during the distribution and retrieval of the modules. Again, thank you for watching. God bless you guys. Keep safe. And now I am signing off. Bye bye.